Hello everyone, welcome to the channel one more time. Today we'll be talking about how time was thought about in ancient India. And for that, let's welcome none other than Radhakrishna Warrior ji. Hello Radhakrishna ji.
Namaskar and namaste to all.
Yes. So
And
Radhakrishna ji,
today it is actually an auspicious day because it is a day after Shivaratri,
Shivaratri,
and
yeah.
our uh, best wishes to all
Yes.
who might have observed the Shivaratri yesterday.
Yeah, so huge day in India, big festival. Happy Mahashivratri to everyone. I'm hoping that everyone has finished their fast and they have started to eat now. So let's quickly introduce Radhakrishna Warrior ji. Radhakrishna Warrior is an engineer by profession and is deeply interested in such non-engineering subjects as ancient science, modern science, history, linguistics, astronomy, and anthropology as related to Bharat. Originally from Kerala, Radhakrishnaji obtained his bachelor's degree in electronic and communication engineering half a century ago and immediately afterwards joined the Indian Space Research Organization as a young engineer. After working at ISRO for 21 years in the field of radio frequency and microwave communication as related to satellites and launch vehicles, he continued his career abroad. He obtained his master's degree in engineering in Dalhousie University in Halifax, Canada. After working for many years in Canada in the same radio frequency and microwave communication field in different companies and in different cities of Canada, he came to the US 10 years ago. He has been living with his wife in the city of Renton for the past 9 years and has been working in the field of radio frequency and microwave communication for positive train control. His son, daughter-in-law, and two young grandsons live in Halifax in Canada. Radhakrishna ji, welcome to the channel one more time.
Once more, namaskaram to all. Namaste to all.
Namaste. So, to kick this off, Radhakrishna ji, we are going to talk about time in ancient India. But to set some context, I also wanted to remind our viewers about a very beautiful movie called as Interstellar. I don't know if folks have watched it, but that talks a lot about how time is different on Earth versus when the protagonist he travels outside the Earth, far, far away. At that time they are very careful that if like 5 minutes pass there, it's going to be years on Earth and they won't be able to see the same people. So to set that context before we start having a conversation about how ancient India thought about time, and I think for ancient India I want to tell our viewers that it's a very, very interesting detail that Radhakrishna ji will walk us through today on different aspects of time that you and I might have never thought about. All right. So let's kick this off, Radhakrishna ji. To begin this, I also want to just ask, how time has been talked about in Vedas, because Vedas are the most ancient texts that we have.
Yes, actually, Vedas are very much concerned with time. First, its philosophical underpinnings and also its practical aspects, because they wanted that all yagas should be done at the right time, at the right astronomical conjunction. So they were very much interested in timekeeping in the physical sense and time in the philosophical sense. So for them, time or Kāla is the Sanskrit, or Samaya, both are for time. So Kāla was not only a chronological measure, means for measuring the passage of time. It was poetic, it was symbolic, and it was cyclical, means like the cosmic wheel. It was a cosmic wheel, a Kālachakra. Chakra means wheel, Kāla means time. So it was Kālachakra turning incessantly through creation and dissolution. So, and also it was a deity to be worshipped and a force of transformation. And Vedas treated Kala as a devourer, means as an eater, and yet also as a revealer of cosmic order. And
Right.
if you go to Tantra is actually later to Veda. So in Tantra, it is a dance of Shakti,
Oh.
the deity Shakti,
Mhm.
and each moment is a pulse of divine presence. I mean, each moment it is Shakti's presence.
Yeah.
And bhakti, it is the stage upon which the divine Leela, the play of God, gets enacted.
Yeah.
So here we'll go from the philosophical and the physical dimensions of time, from the infinitesimal Truṭi to the vast Kalpa. So
Okay.
that's interesting. It is
This is very interesting.
cosmological, and symbolic. So
Yeah,
in
you
our
know, Radhakrishna ji, this reminds me of Mahabharat, because at the beginning of Mahabharat, it used to say "Main samay hu," and it was always a wheel. So
yes,
whenever I have thought about this, otherwise, I have always thought about time as a linear dimension where we are saying we are going in one direction, and
yes,
there's no going back. That's how we think about it, right? I cannot go in the past and change anything. But in Indian thought, we have always thought about time as a wheel. So we
yes,
always say that the same thing will keep repeating itself for ages and ages. And we see that, you know, Earth is at the same position after a while, Moon is at the same position after a while. And so
yes.
everything keeps repeating. And I think time is also thought about as a wheel, which is different than how West thinks about it.
Right.
Okay. So let's talk about time in modern science point of view.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through that, Radhakrishna ji?
See, for modern science, time is an enigma. They could not define it fully, and it is something that doesn't allow them to catch it. It just escapes. So,
Yeah.
for example, in Newtonian physics or in quantum physics, time is a universal linear thing. They assume that time is same across the entire universe and it moves linearly. But when you come to general relativity, it changes. Time is
Mm.
something malleable, something changes. Gravity can distort time, or the velocity of an object can distort time. High gravity can make the time go slower.
Mm.
Similarly, high velocity can make the time go slower. So if you go near objects that have extremely high gravity, time
Mm.
slows down. Near black holes, means black holes are supposed to have nearly infinite gravity. So
Wow.
there, time almost stops, they say.
Okay.
So
So,
also, if you travel at the speed of light, time stops. So time gets stops. And
right.
then some modern physicists, especially those who go deep into quantum uh, physics,
Mm.
they say that time is not something fundamental. It is
Okay.
an emergent property, and it arises from quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is also an interesting phenomenon. With two particles separated, means even they can be separated by light years. Any change in state of one particle immediately changes the state of the other particle. How does it happen? It is not explained, but it happens. They have experimentally proved that it
That this
happens.
happens.
So that's called quantum entanglement. And they say that time may be something related to quantum entanglement. So that's also another interesting point of view.
Yeah. One question here, Radhakrishna ji. I think was it Einstein who also talked about the time-space conundrum and how it uh, entangles each other. So I remember that if there is an eclipse or something, when either the moon comes between the earth and sun, or earth comes in between moon and sun, we have this space occupied by some other body which usually is not there in that path. And then there is something that happens for the space and time. And I think Einstein was the one who also talked about it a bit.
Yes, exactly. Einstein was the one who talked about the distortion of the space-time continuum, the fabric of space and time. He says if there is gravity, it gets distorted. It gets.
Hmm.
But
Got
most modern thing about quantum entanglement, that is the view of modern physicists.
got it. Okay, interesting. So now coming back to, ancient India, I know we are kind of moving back and forth between modern and ancient, but in the ancient texts, starting from the Vedas, how is time defined? Did Vedas talk about time at all? Because they are so old.
Yes, they do. They do. They see, as I said, they talk about both the philosophical time and the physical time. And in the creation hymns of the Rig Veda, they describe time as cyclical. That's why the Kālachakra is there. They describe it as cyclical, and they actually even speculate on the primordial state before creation, and they say there was no time then. Means it was a state when time was also not there. I cannot imagine that, but they could actually imagine that, and they could say that in the Vedas. And they actually, by exploring time, they connected the ultimate reality, which is Brahman, with Atman. Atman is self, and Brahman is the ultimate reality. And Vedas connect the Atman with the Brahman and saying that both are same. And they suggest that through knowledge one can achieve a state of existence beyond that which is bound by time. They say now we are living in a world bound by Desha and Kala. Desha means space, and Kala means time. The ultimate knowledge will release us from this bondage of space and time. So that's a very beautiful concept. Now, these are all philosophical, what do you call, philosophical discussions on time. Yeah. Then they go also to the physical measurable time, and they measured that time in vast yugas, then years, seasons, months, lunar days, and then came to such small units as a Truṭi. Truṭi is just a few microseconds. So they came to even that. So especially after Vedangas came. Vedanga means Anga of Veda. Anga means a limb of Veda. They are not the real Vedas. They came after the Vedas. And Vedanga also, Vedanga Jyotisha, that's an important part of ancient Jyotisha. Vedanga Jyotisha describes all these vast Kalpa, then infinitesimal Truṭi, and also Siddhantas. Siddhantas are the real scientific work on astronomy, like those of Aryabhata and all that. They also mention these dimensions of time, from the large yuga to the small Truṭi.
Very interesting. So here, Radhakrishna ji, I want to clarify something for the viewers, because every time we talk about Jyotisha, it makes me feel like it's horoscope related, but not really, right? Here, when we say Vedanga Jyotisha, it is a whole branch, it is a whole mathematical branch which studies the planetary positions and the space objects. And that is kind of divided into, I think, Ganita Jyotisha. There is another part which is astronomy. And then there is third part, which is Phala Jyotisha, which is actually the effect of planets. But the mathematical part and the astronomy part are not at all related to, horoscopes or anything like that. We are saying that we are studying the objects in space. And here is the mathematical calculation of where this object would be. And
yes,
that is what is the foundation for Phala Jyotisha, which is the horoscope. Because whenever someone is born, we kind of say that, okay, at this particular moment, where were the 9 planets, or rather I should say planet is a loose concept because we also have Rahu and Ketu in it, which are points in space. But where were these 9 objects in space at the time when someone was born? And that is what we call as their kundli. It's a snapshot of sky, nothing else but snapshot of sky. Right. And then there is a branch which says, okay, what will be the effect of each planet on this? But when we say Jyotisha, Vedanga Jyotisha here, we are talking about the entire mathematical branch of that Vedanga, and not just horoscope part, right?
Yes.
loosely these days, that term is kind of only
Yeah,
used for horoscope. So I don't want the viewers to get confused
right.
by that.
Exactly. That's a very valid thing. In fact, Aryabhata speaks only of the science, of the math and the physical, astronomical positions. He
Right.
doesn't speak of Phala Jyotisha.
That's correct.
So
And also
this,
for, sorry, yeah.
also there are some modern people who think that, oh, these are all humbug. These are not real. These are real. All these things are existing in the sky.
Yeah.
The actual things.
Yeah. Funny that you mentioned that, because when I was growing up and my grandmom would teach me about, planets and nakshatras, I would say, why doesn't it make sense to me? Whatever you are saying doesn't make sense to me. So she used to say, it doesn't make sense to you because you do not look up in the sky. You go
Yes.
to a calendar and you check out what day it is. But for me, I look up in the sky and I can tell at what point of time we are in. And now that I've grown up, I think I understand what she means. That, all of these objects in the sky, they exist. If you look up in the sky, you will know where they are. And that is what
Yes.
Aryabhatta has been talking about. A lot of other
Yes.
scientists from India have also been talking about. Okay, so now that we have clarified that for our viewers, let's talk about time and Rita. I think I love this word Rita. Radhakrishna ji, can you explain more about it?
Yes, sure. Actually, Rita is a wonderful word, and it has uh, it has been used in the Vedas very often, and it actually means the cosmic order, the ultimate order. It is a righteous order, okay, and it is also the structure of the universe. The ultimate structure is also Rita. Its order is also Rita, and Rita also means the righteous way of living. What we call dharma, actually that's also Rita,
Right.
and uh, it is the natural law that regulates the universe, and time is its constant motion. It's
Hmm.
gati. It's gati means motion. Gati is time. So, what in the Indian perspective, everything, the movement of the sun, moon, stars, and everything, seasons, it's all manifestations of Rita. Even the word Ritu, season, comes from Rita. Okay,
Yeah.
and the Vedas uh, placed great importance on yagas, yajnas. So they say that yajna was the way to align with the cosmic Rita, align our lives, our world with the cosmic Rita. So that made them place great importance on the reckoning of time,
Very
because
interesting.
time is the gati of Rita, is the movement of Rita.
Yeah. So about this word Rita, I think this is a very beautiful word, because in Indian thought, we have always thought through about universe as something which is in order. We don't say that it is chaotic. We don't say that, it's out of order, or we don't know what's going on. We always say it is of Rita. And I'm very sure all of our viewers have come across this word, because whenever we say Atharva Shirsha, we say Ritam Vachmi, Satyam Vachmi, which means I talk of order, I talk of the truth. And so that order is what is considered very, very important in Rig Veda. We can see it's mentioned 390 times in Rig Veda. And also, when you talked about, Yajna, I think whatever we call Muhurta, right? We are saying that something in space is aligning, which is going to be fruitful for you. And that is why we are doing it at a certain time. And so time measuring was extremely important. Am I right, Radhakrishna ji?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, folks, please don't take Muhurta very lightly. It is very, very important, because we are saying that something in the space is aligned at that time. And we'll talk more about how to figure this out eventually. But it is going to be beneficial for you. And that is why we are saying do it at a certain time. And you can see its application right there. Why did India have to measure so much of time? Because we would do something at a certain time for it to be beneficial to yourself. And so we have muhurtas, we have specific time when we do puja, we have specific time when we do wedding. In weddings, we see the time which is more auspicious for the bride and the groom. Then for pujas, it's common to everyone. Something in the space is aligning, some objects in space are aligning. It is not something that people think of it today as, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what muhurta is. This is what muhurta is. Something in
Yes.
space has aligned, and that's going to be beneficial for you. Very simple to
Yes.
remember.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about
So,
time and
interestingly, for the Shaivas, those who follow Shiva, or for everyone, time and Tandava are related. Shiva's dance. If you see the Nataraja image, see, I have one here.
Yeah.
This is the Nataraja. Also, you can see in the picture this outer ring. It is the Prabha Mandala. Prabha Mandala is the ring of fire, ring of what do you call illuminance, or Prabha means illuminance. So this is the ring of fire. Okay, so this symbolizes time. It is an unending cycle of time. It's again cyclical, unending cycle of time. And one more thing in this symbolism, the what do you call the damaru, the small hourglass shaped drum.
Yeah.
Its sound symbolizes the primal sound, primal nada. We say nada Brahma. So the primal sound of the universe, and it also times the means what do you call it? It synchronizes Shiva's Tandava dance. Okay, so and it sets the rhythm. Actually, it sets the rhythm of the dance, and the dance is actually performed on a demon. If you see the picture, you can see a demon. This doesn't show it very clearly. It is here below, but you can see on the picture the Tandava dance is performed on the demon. And what's the demon? That demon is ignorance. So the dance is the victory over ignorance. And what is the ignorance? Actually, there are two types of knowledge. Okay, one is called aparavidya. Aparavidya means it's knowledge. It's also good knowledge, knowledge of the universe. All whatever we said, astronomy, maths, physics, quantum physics. It's all knowledge, but it is apara knowledge. It is limited by the universe. Okay. Then our ancient people said there is paravidya. Paravidya is the ultimate knowledge. If you have that, you are beyond time and space. Okay, beyond the bandhana, beyond the bondage of Kāla and desha, time and space. So, and then you get the ultimate realization, mukti. So, this Ananda Tandava, the final object is gaining that knowledge. So, this gives that anugraha, the grace for liberation. So, anyway, yesterday was Shivaratri. So, once again, may you all have the blessings of Mahashivaratri.
And thank you, Radhakrishna ji, for bringing all this knowledge to us as well, because we just talked about how important knowledge is. I love the symbolism that you explained in this posture of Shiva right now. I had no idea, by the way, that this was the symbolic significance of the wheel behind him, and the dance. That I knew that he's dancing on a demon, but I didn't know that it is basically ignorance. And we are trying to show the victory of knowledge over ignorance. It's very, very beautiful.
Yes.
Also, remind me, I think it was CERN in CERN, Institute of CERN, which is extremely well known for
Yes,
physics,
yes, yes,
and they accepted
yes,
the statue of Shiva as
yes,
from the Indian government as a gift. Is that right?
yes, yes. Actually, this is in Bern in Switzerland. So
Mm-hmm.
this is an organization that does research in quantum physics, in modern physics,
Right.
and they wanted this Nataraja image, and government of India sent them this.
Yeah, this is very, very beautiful. Thank you, Radhakrishna ji. I must say that the West also accepts all these concepts from us equally as we do. And so these days, something that West accepts is very, very important to us. And so I wanted to highlight this fact as well before we move on and talk about next stuff. So how do we think about, measurable time in Vedas now?
Exactly. So what Vedas did, they divided the time into yugas. Yugas is it's a vast number. Then into years, seasons, and into still smaller units, as we discussed before. So the year was divided into seasons, and then seasons into months. Okay,
Mhm.
and the months were divided into days. So one day is called Ahoratra. Ahas means daytime when the sun is there, and Ratra means when it is dark, when the sun is not there, night. So they divided a day into the bright day and night, and they divided the day into 30 muhurta or 60 ghadi. Ghadi or nadi, same thing. They divided a day into 60 ghati or nadi, and 2 ghati or 2 nadi makes 1 muhurta. Then the nadi was subdivided into 60 vinadis, and so on. They divided it further and further and further to, as I said, the tiny
Truṭi.
Truṭi, which lasts only a few microseconds. And this is as per Surya Siddhanta, which is also a basic astronomy text.
Right. So here, I want to highlight to the viewers that the calculation of muhurtas, and someday when we have Panditji also on the channel, we'll ask him about it. But the muhurtas or the division of muhurtas is depending on the local Suryodaya and Suryasta, so sunrise and sunset. And so it will change based on where you are in the world, by the way, because day and night
Yes.
will vary depending on where exactly on earth you are. So I want to highlight that Panchang of India, the calculation or the calendar system of India, does account for the fact that you are going to be somewhere on earth and not necessarily in Bharat. And so the calculations are always based on local sunrise and local sunset. Just want to highlight this as a fun fact.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
now let's move on. What is yoga? I think this word is very beautiful. Again, Radhakrishna ji, to set some context. I know that
Yes.
yoga comes from yoga, which means alignment. Again, we have talked so much
Yes.
about alignment today that yoga is also, we think of it as era or some time period, but it is a time period that is aligning something in the sky. Again, it is just
Yes.
not,
Yes. Yes.
we are not saying
Yes.
it's random
Exactly.
time, right?
Yes.
And so I'll let you explain the Sanskrit root of this as well.
Actually, yuga is a word from, of course, it's a Sanskrit word, and it comes from the root yuj. Yuj is the act of joining or harnessing. Okay, and then we actually use that word yoga for or sorry, yuga for the, what do you call it in Hindi, this yoke for animals. So it can yoke two animals for plowing a field. So it is yoking, it is joining. So the concept comes from joining, to join. Yuj means to join, and from that came yuga and yoga both. So as Shruti said, it's also connected with joining with the order, with the ultimate Rita order. So everything is, means it's all connected. Our ancient words are all connected. They are beautiful. So Vedas actually speak of yugas as just 5-year yuga. Okay, but later on, and yoga Veda also speak of yuga as the yoke, joining together two horses and all that. So that is yuga in the Veda, a 5-year period. In the Vedanga Jyotisha also, yuga is a 5-year period, but later texts actually expand the yuga to very long periods of time, and they have actually 4 different yugas also, like Satya or Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, and the duration is vast for each of these. So the 5-year yuga increased to million, like 4.32 million human years. That is the Chatur Yuga, all the 4 yugas added. And interestingly, they had a concept of relativity. Okay, the Deva or divine year is many human years, and the year of the Brahma is many Deva years. So it's all relative. Maybe as Shruti said in the beginning, when you travel, that 5 minutes of theirs is maybe so many years here in the world.
So
then
one thing here, Radhakrishna ji, for the viewers again, think of yuga or the word yuga as some era. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a certain period of time, but that era can either be 5 years era, it can be very very long. So like Radhakrishna ji said, it can be like millions of years in human thought of time.
Yes.
So basically, the concept of yuga is not specific to mathematical number. We think of it as a era. Era can be short, era can be long, but it is all relative. For someone, 5 years is a long time. For other people, 1,000 years is a long time. So think of that word yuga as era, and don't think of it as a specific number of years in your mind, because like Radhakrishna ji said, there is context where yuga has been used as a 5-year term, but there's also another context where yuga has been used as much longer period of time, like Treta, Satya Yuga, Kali Yuga. And so now, Radhakrishna ji, if you can please explain the relation between this. One thing I want to point out before that is I'm so amazed that Indian thought has given so much importance to number of years, because how much does a human live, right? 100 years, but we have thought about such a long period of time. I'm very sure there is some application to this as well.
So actually, the Chatur Yuga is also called a Mahayuga, and in the Puranas they say 71 Mahayugas is one Manvantara. Manvantara means age of Manu. So age of Manu is 71 Mahayugas, and then 14 Manvantaras is one Kalpa, and one Kalpa is just a day of Brahma. So imagine.
One thing I want to highlight here for all the viewers, we actually say all this when we perform a puja. We always say that we are in the second parardha of Brahma. We also have the names of for each of the kalpas. So right now, the kalpa that we are in Shweta kalpa. And so this has names. Basically, in Indian thought, we have always given a naming convention to all of these years. So whenever you do a puja sankalpa, you actually say all these things, that I'm in second parardha of Brahma, I am in Shweta kalpa, I am in Vaishvaswatha Manvantara, and then so on. You go on saying these things up until the current moment, and then you also tell where in the world you are situated in for doing this puja. You also say that you are in, Jambu Dvipa, or America's Dvipa these days, if you are performing a puja in America. Then you say in which khanda you are in. Are you in Bharat khanda? Are you in America khanda? Or some other. Then you also say whether you are in the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere. and then you kind of narrow it down to where you are situated. So whenever you do puja next time, please pay attention. You are kind of telling the time that you are in and the geographical place that you are in, and that comes in picture now that Radhakrishna ji has given us the mathematics behind how many yugas is Mahayuga, how many Mahayugas is one Manvantara, and how many Manvantaras is one Kalpa. And that's why I wanted to highlight this for the viewers, that next time let's avoid the ignorance and let's pay attention when we do puja. As in what Sankalpa we are saying, we say all these things and it will make sense to you soon. Okay. Now let's talk about the details of Chatur Yuga, because I think everybody knows about Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali, but what is the relation between them?
And also, there is interesting thing. See, they say that in the Satya Yuga, decline of dharma, there is zero decline of dharma, means it is fully dharmic. It is the way of life is dharmic. Okay, you are fully aligned with the Rita, and you live a dharmic life. But when you come to Treta Yuga, there's a little degradation. Means 25% you are adharma, 75% you are dharmic, but 25% you are adharmic. Okay, and then when you come to Dwapara Yuga, 50% you are good, 50% bad, 50%.
Wow.
But when you come to Kali Yuga, which is our Yuga, you are 75% bad and
Wow.
25% good. Means dharma is only 25%, adharma is 75%. And we can see that.
Yeah, that is true.
Here, if you see the characteristic, the Satya Yuga is truth, virtue, and no suffering. And then the Treta Yuga comes, that the desire emerges. Means you think, oh, I want this, I want that. Okay, so that is the root. Whenever desire is there, adharma comes in. Okay, and you also do rituals. Say here before in this Krita Yuga, in the Satya Yuga, you didn't need to do any rituals because you are fully dharmic. Here, since the adharma comes, you have to do rituals like yaga or bhakti or whatever. And then in the Dwapara Yuga, decline of dharma, it is 50% gone. The dharma 50% gone. So rise of conflict, war, this, that, fight. And of course, in the Kali Yuga, it is war and ignorance and spiritual darkness.
Yeah, we have always thought of Kali Yuga to be the most struggling part, right?
Yes, yes. But they say that also being born in Kali Yuga is an advantage also, because you can learn to overcome all this and you can gain the ultimate knowledge, reality. So they say that also. Being born in Kali Yuga, if you strive hard, if you go the right way, you will get the realization.
Yes, that's very beautiful, Radhakrishna ji. Thanks for highlighting that. Now, let's talk about yugas and the die. Or the dice.
That's an interesting thing. See, the names of the yuga, they say, came from the throw of the dice. See, in the olden days, people played dice. We know the famous Mahabharata story, because Pandavas lost because they played the dice. And Shakuni cheated. We all know the story. So dice was something very widely used even from the time of the Vedas. So, and they were made of different substances, like from Vibhitaka nuts. I just forgot its Hindi word. I think some bahada or something. That tree is called a nut, or they could be made of bone, ivory, stone, or wood, or whatever. And they had actually dots. Okay, 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot, 4 dot. When you throw, the number will come up, dot. So with that you move the things, and that's how you play dice. So when you throw the dice, when 4 comes, that's a good outcome. Okay, so that they say it is done. Krita means done. Kuru is to do, Krita means done. So it is done. 4. That's the best outcome. Okay. Then the next best is 3. Okay. And Treta means a collection of 3. So that is Treta. And then comes, and the next best means worse than the 3 is 2. So 2 is Dwapara. Dwa and Apara. 2 ahead. Okay. And then the worst, when 1 comes, it is worse. And that is Kali. That's how they say the names of the yuga came from the throw of the dice.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting. I had no idea of the connection of the names of the yuga with the dots on the dice. Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Now we also talked a little bit about, Ritu, or the word Rita is order. So Ritu is something that comes in order, and it's basically season. But always, growing up, I have always only thought about winter, summer, autumn, and spring. So only 4 seasons is what we have thought about. But I think from India we have 6 ritus, and we talk
Yes.
about these as we also have follow some transition time when one ritu changes to other. We kind of end up in Ayurveda. We follow certain things, whether to eat those things or not eat those things,
Yes.
to lead a healthier lifestyle. But we do have
Sure.
6 ritus. So let's talk about these 6 ritus.
Yeah. And these 6 ritus are mentioned in the Vedas themselves. These come from the Vedas. They named it like Vasanta. Vasanta is the spring. Grishma is summer. Varsha is the heavy rain. Sharad is pre-autumn. Hemanta is autumn and winter. And Shishira is the real winter.
Okay.
So they divided the year into 6 seasons, and each season had a set of, means you had to follow a set of rules. It is called Ritu Charya. Charya means that you should, what you should follow. So you should follow those. And as Shruti said, even Ayurveda recommends what foods you should consume in each season. See, the food for summer may not be appropriate as a food for winter. So
Right.
you should follow the Ritu Charya. And our ancient people placed great importance on the Ritu also. And there is something called, people may not be aware, Chaturmasa, this heavy rainy season.
Yeah.
That's called Chaturmasa in Sanskrit, but I think maybe in Hindi, Chaumasa or something similar. And that is the ideal time for worship, they say. Because you cannot go out and do other activities.
Yeah.
You read all the literature, ancient literature, like read Ramayana. We in Kerala we have what do you call a tradition of reading Ramayana in the monsoon months.
Oh.
So these are all Ritucharyas, okay, part of Ritucharya. So set the 4 months for divine thought. That is
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned, because my grandmom used to say that in Chaturmas, Vishnu is in Yoga Nidra. So because he's given you rains, he's given you everything. Now he wants to relax a bit, and so we called it as Yoga Nidra. So he's not really asleep; he's still listening, but it's more like he's trying to relax a bit before he ramps up for the year ahead. And so
Yes.
one question here, Radhakrishna ji, that we talk about ritus, but we are in the northern hemisphere. I think the
Yes.
ritus will change quite a lot if we move in southern hemisphere.
Oh yes. Yes. Very much. That is true. Because Vedas were written in the northern hemisphere, so they thought about the northern hemisphere. So in the southern hemisphere, it is just the inverse. Okay. So when is what do you call countries like Australia, Fiji, etc., are in the southern hemisphere, in the bottom. So when it is Vasanta, spring here, there it is autumn, Sharad. Means it's all inverted.
Yeah, exact opposite. Okay. So now that we've talked about Rutu, I think Rutu spans roughly over 2 months,
Yes.
2 months of a year. And now let's talk about months as well and how it
Yes.
connects with the Rutus.
Yes. Interesting. They see Vedas always give a very, very, what do you call it? Good imagery. So they actually, the whole year was treated as a wheel, and the months were treated as the, what do you call, what is it called, these things? I
Spokes.
forgot the names. They are spokes of a wheel. Like if you have a bicycle, there are spokes. You can see the spokes. So they treated the year as a wheel of a ratha. Ratha means chariot, and it had 12 spokes. Interesting. So, and they, they did, and 12 spoke wheel, and some symbolizing 12 months. Okay. And 360 nails. They had 360 nails, means 360 days.
Yeah. Oh my
It's
God.
all symbolism, nice symbolism.
Yeah.
So they divided the Vedic months were, the spring months were Madhu and Madhava. The summer months were Shukra and Shuchi. Rainy months were Nabhas and Nabhasya. And autumn months were Isha and Urja. And pre-winter months, that is Hemanta months, were Sahas and Sahasya. And the Shishira, the winter months, were Tapas and Tapasya. So these were the early Vedic months. And I think still Vaishnavas use these. But then it slowly changed to Chaitra, Vaishakha, and so on, those months. And they changed. If you see Brahmana or Vedanga Jyotisha, they use this Chaitra Vaishakha name. And
Yes.
these are lunar months. It is very interesting how the names came.
Okay.
Chaitra, Vaishakha, etc. So
Yeah.
that I think we'll go to the next slide.
Yeah. So here, when we talk about, calendar systems, I just wanted to set that context that calendar system today, when you think about calendar, it is like, okay, it is, so and so day in February and we are in the year 2020 something, right? And that is how we think about a calendar right now. And then we say, okay, the time is 10 a.m., 12 p.m. and so on. But I think when it comes to Panchanga, I wanted people to have that context on how we think about calendar system. It is not just accounting for a day in a year, because the Western calendars are mostly sun-based calendars. But
Yes.
different civilizations across the world have thought about moon-based calendars. And specifically when it comes to India, we have accounted for the sun and the moon. Is that right, Radhakrishna ji?
Yes. We use both.
All right. So let's kick it off first with the moon, and then we'll go towards how we adjust it to the sun.
Yes. Because, see, moon is a very, very convenient calendar, actually. Just observe in the sky, and in the night, we can also see the starry background. So we can exactly say where the moon is in relation to the starry background. And from that, we can easily say which day it is, which month it is.
Right.
So the moon was a big calendar in the olden days. You'll see that next thing. So
Okay.
what in the ancient days we used Tithi. Tithi is the phase of the moon. Okay, so it starts with the Amavasya, means it's called new moon in English. That's an interesting English name. English calls no moon as new moon. Okay, so and then we have the Shukla Paksha and the Krishna Paksha. Shukla Paksha is where the moon's size increases, okay, Vriddhi. And
Right.
Krishna Paksha is where the moon's size decreases, Kshaya, okay. So a Tithi is the phase, the total period of new moon through full moon and back to new moon. They divided into 30. So these 30 phases, there are 30 phases of the moon.
Yes.
So starts with the Prathama. Prathama is also called Pratipada. So Pratipada is say Shukla Paksha. Shukla Pratipada means the first day, that small crescent of moon, that is the first day. And then comes Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shashti, Sixth, Saptami, Ashtami is the half moon, eighth.
Right.
Then Navami, Dashami, Ekadashi. Ekadashi is also important, we
Yeah.
observe fasting and all that.
Yeah.
Then Dwadashi, Trayodashi. See, there are in the Dwadashi, Ekadashi, see, I don't know, because people now don't observe all those things. But Ekadashi was a fast, and then Dwadashi was a Parana. It is called Parana, means you take food for the first time. So Dwadashi is the Parana day.
Yeah.
And then Trayodashi, Chaturdashi, and Purnima. And
Right.
similarly, Krishna Paksha means after the full moon comes again the Pratipada, then Dvitiya, and so on. So it was very easy to keep track of the days using Tithi, because you just look at the sky, and you can easily say which Tithi it is.
Yeah.
So that is why Tithis were adopted. It was easy to keep track. But nowadays we hardly look at the sky,
Right.
hardly look at the moon. See, as Shruti was saying, some people say all these ancient astronomy is all imaginary, not there. But if you look at the sky, you will know that they are there, right there.
Yeah, actually, Radhakrishna, if I say today's date is what, 16th Feb. So if I say my birthday is 16th Feb, it doesn't make any sense to me, right? But if I say that it is Krishna Paksha's, today should be Amavasya because yesterday was Mahashivratri. So if I say that, then I know exactly which moon cycle I am in right now. So if my birthday, if I said that it is Amavasya of Magha month of something, I know that I am in the declining phase of moon. I am on the last day, which is the new moon day. So no moon that day. And so when I say that my birthday is that, I would know that where in that lunar cycle I was born versus just saying that I was on 16th Feb. I think it wouldn't bring anything to me, right? But I think Tithi birthdays make more sense because you are saying that you are in Krishna Paksha, you are saying you are born on Amavasya or Chaturdashi. And so you know that it is the waxing phase or the waning phase, you know which day exactly within that phase you were born. And I think moon has played a very important role for us. One, it is closest object to the earth to be able to observe. And then we have also observed it on the background of stars to determine where exactly we are right now. So let's also talk a little bit about that so that we set some context for our viewers for thinking about Panchang. Panchang, people think it is some kind of complicated logic. It is actually not. It is very common. It used to be very common knowledge at a point, and to the point that we have different types of Panchang. We have Date Panchang, we have Tilak Panchang. So Lokmanya Tilak also used to write Panchang. We only know him for his freedom struggle, but he was an extremely amazing at astronomy. He also wrote a book called as the Orion. Very interesting read if folks want to read. But let's understand where all this comes from. What is the foundation for Panchang? And so Radhakrishna ji, please explain how we can think about Earth and other planets and how do we think about Panchang?
Yeah. See, all this have physical basis when we say all these things. So if we stand on Earth and look up, we see a globe, okay? One half of the globe. That other half of the globe is beneath. That comes up in the night. So this whole globe which we perceive, there is no globe there, but this is what we see. So this is called celestial sphere, okay? Our ancient people had a name for it, and they used it to fix the position of stars, to fix the position of planets, everything. If you see the celestial sphere, we see three kinds of movement. One is the whole celestial sphere with stars, moon, sun. It moves from the east to west every day. Okay, every day it moves from the east to west, and then The second is that the celestial objects, some celestial objects like sun, moon, and planets, they don't remain at the same position with respect to the fixed stars. They move. They also move as it's all as we see from the Earth. They move. Okay. And then the third is another thing that will come. Is called the precession of the equinoxes. That also moves. Ayana, Ayanamsha, etc. So keep in mind at least these two movements. First is the daily movement of the whole celestial sphere, and then the slower movement of the sun, moon, and the planets with respect to the background stars. Now, the sun's movement across the celestial sphere in a year, in the course of a year, is a circle in the celestial sphere, and that circle is called ecliptic in English. Okay, and around that ecliptic there is a belt, as I showed in the yellow. That belt is called the zodiacal belt. So most planets, the moon and the sun, remain in that belt. So that's called zodiacal belt. And the zodiacal belt is divided into 27 Nakṣhatra. Nakṣhatra is called, what is it called in English?
It's basically just constellation of stars.
Yeah, it's a notional thing. So they divided that entire thing into 27 parts, equal parts. So each part will be roughly 13 degrees, I think. 13 degrees and 20 minutes. Okay. So that is one Nakṣhatra. And they named that Nakṣhatra for a prominent star there. For example, in the Chitra Nakṣhatra, which is a region in the sky, the prominent star is Chitra star. So they named it as Chitra Nakṣhatra. Okay. So now that is the 27 division of the zodiacal belt. They also divided the zodiacal belt into 12 rashis. Okay. So each rashi will be 30 degrees because it is 360 degrees divided by 12 is 30 degrees. So each rashi is 30 degrees. And they named each rashi on the basis of the star constellation. So when viewed from Earth, that constellation reminded them of some animals or some shapes. Say, for example, the segment, the rashi called Makara, that reminded our ancient people of a sea creature called Makara. Makara is also crocodile, magar much, they say. So it reminded them of some shapes like Gemini or Gemini, as they say in the United States. It is Mithuna, twins, or Kumbha. Kumbha, it reminded them of a jar. So the name Kumbha. So they named it on the basis of the prominent star constellation. That is called Rashi. So now we know 27 Nakṣhatra and 12 Rashi. These are all just divisions of the space, divisions of the what do you call the
ecliptic
celestial sphere.
Yeah. So want to highlight to the viewers here that the zodiac signs are not just for horoscopes; they are actual constellations in the sky. So if you look up, you should be able to see what is constellation. It's just a collection of stars together. Why are there 12? Because they are equidistant from each other and they divide the ecliptic into exactly 30 degrees. Now, if you say that a certain planet was in a certain constellation, for example, if I say Saturn was in, let's say Aries. So basically, I'm saying Shani जो है वो मेष राशि में थे. What does it mean? That it was in that constellation of stars. It was in that part of the sky. Okay. And now you want to add more precision to it. So how will you, within that mesh, where was it? So we have 27 nakshatras in the background, which are also collection of stars. So
Yes.
each zodiac will have about 2.5 nakshatras in it. Okay, now we say that it is in a particular nakshatra. Within that nakshatra, where was it? So we further
Yes.
divide nakshatras into 4 parts, which we call as pada. So all of this is really in the sky. If you look up, you will
Yes.
know.
Yes.
A lot of people think
Exactly.
it's horoscope related. It is not. And you can
Yes.
look up in the sky and know
Yeah.
this. So just wanted to
Yes.
clarify.
Yes. See, this has nothing to do with the horoscope. These are all physical things,
Right.
and this is they devised this to specify the position correctly, as Shruti said.
Yeah.
Something, say moon is in Mithuna, moon is in this nakshatra, and again in which pada of the nakshatra. So then you pinpoint. That's
Very.
the idea.
So it's like a map. You want to get closer and closer to the actual
Yes.
point, and so you have something which can tell you where exactly in the sky is it, because otherwise, how would you know? Now, talking about nakshatra as well, Radhakrishna ji, what exactly is a nakshatra? Is it a
Yeah.
collection of stars again?
Yes, exactly. See, it is we divided that ecliptic, that zodiacal belt into 27 divisions, equal divisions. Okay,
Mhm.
and they named each of the division for a prominent star in that division. For example, you say Ashwini. Ashwini is that region, that 1 by 27 of the circle. That region is called Ashwini, but within that region, there is a bright star called Ashwini. So it is easy for people to visualize that region. If they see the Ashwini star, oh yes, this is the Ashwini Nakshatra. So they named all these segments for the important stars in it. Say, for
Right.
example, Ardra star. It is easy, which is Ardra. It is the most easy star in the sky. Orion with a like a hourglass, like
Yeah.
this, and then so Ardra is on the shoulder of the
Yeah.
Orion. Okay, so
Yeah.
when we see that, we know, oh, this is that segment, Ardra, Nakshatra Ardra. So
Right.
the naming of the nakshatra is for us to identify the
Mhm.
segment.
Right.
And as Shruti said, nakshatra has also padas, 4 padas.
Mhm.
So you pinpoint the position. And
Correct.
these are the names of the 27,
Yeah.
like Ashwini, Bharani,
Yeah.
Kritika, Rohini, and so on till Revati.
Yes.
There is also another star called Abhijit, but that is not part of the zodiac. That is outside the zodiac.
Yeah. So I think that has an importance, but for today, I'm not going to focus on that because it will go into a lot of like specific detail on what we are trying to talk here.
Yes.
So let's focus on again, the lunar months and how they changed their names to the one related to the nakshatra.
Yes. Yes. See, previously, as I said, we had in the Veda, they said Madhu, Madhava, and so on, 12 months. But later astronomers divided it into lunar months, and they gave names, very good names. The how the names came in a month. Say, for example, let us say Chaitra month.
Mhm.
In the Chaitra month, the full moon happens to be near the Chitra
Done.
star asterism.
Mhm.
So uh, when the full moon is near the Chitra asterism, then it is Chaitra month. So like that, they named months. Say Vaishakha, when the full moon happens to be in Vishakha nakshatra, and so on. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is easy. You just look up at the sky
And
and
you know.
see where the full moon is. Then
Yeah.
you easily identify the month. So that's
Yeah.
why I said the moon is a big calendar in the sky.
True.
Based on the starry background and the moon, you can easily identify the day.
Right.
So that's how. Say, for example, Shravana, that shows Shravana
Yeah.
nakshatra, when the full moon is near the Shravana asterism,
Yeah.
that is the month of Shravana.
Right. So
Then
now,
comes
Radhakrishna ji, here I want to ask that we have focused on moon so much so far, but then what was the need to also align it with the sun? So what is the need
Yes,
to
yes,
do that? Because there are civilizations which have focused on the sun, and there are civilizations which have focused on the moon. But somehow we have a lunisolar calendar, which means we are accounting for
yes,
both. And why is that?
yes. That is very interesting question. Say, lunar months are easier to identify, but the problem is that a lunar month is just 30 days, and actually it is 29.5 days if you see all the Tithi and all that. So 12 lunar months make only 354 days, not 365 days. So
Mm.
there is a shortage of 11 days. So if
Mm.
we just use lunar months, then it slips because it drifts through the seasons, just like the Islamic calendar. Their Eid drifts through the season. One year Eid can be in the winter. After a few years, Eid can come in the summer, and so on. So it drifts. The months drift through the season if you follow pure lunar calendar. But
Okay.
our people were much wiser, so they synchronized it with the sun, with the seasons. Okay, so and how did they do it? They had a thing called Adhika Masa and Kshaya Masa. Adhika
Okay.
Masa is a leap month, just as we have see for synchronizing in the Gregorian calendar. For synchronizing months with the season, we add one day every 4 years. How do
Right.
we add that one day? February.
Yeah.
February, in 1 year we have 29 days. Similarly, we add 1 month. I think roughly in 2.5 years, we add a month. Uh, and how do we find that month is to be added? So when there is no Sankranti means entering of the sun into one of the zodiacal constellations. We have discussed the zodiacal constellations. So when sun enters, say Makara, it is Sankranti, Makara Sankranti. Like that, there are 12 Sankrantis in a year. Oh, but if it so happens that in a month there is no Sankranti, that month falls between two Sankrantis, then they say, it is time to add a month.
I
And
see.
they add a month.
Mhm.
Okay. So that is how the Adhika Masa is added. When they add a month, then that gets synchronized. The whole thing gets synchronized with the seasons, with the sun's this thing.
Right. So that's
So
how you kind of
in about
align
5
the
years,
sun and the moon.
in 5 years, we add 2 times
Right.
this Adhika Masa, roughly. But in the very long run, we may have to subtract 1 month.
Yeah.
That's called Kshaya. That comes only in once in 100 or some years, some very large number of years.
Okay.
And how is that called calculated? That's called Kshaya Masa. So if two Sankrantis occur in a month, is
Hmm.
called, then you will have to actually deduct
Deduct.
1 month. That is Kshaya Masa.
Okay.
So this is a very intelligent way, very what do you call, a nice way to synchronize the lunar months with the solar cycle. So why lunar months? It is easy to keep track. Just looking at the moon, you can
Yeah.
say which month it is, and tracking. We had to synchronize it with the seasons, with the sun's uh, movement. So we use this Adhika Masa and Kshaya Masa and nicely synchronize the months with the seasons. That's how
Hmm.
we do it. And
Very.
interestingly, the Chinese also do it in a similar way. They have lunar months, and theirs is also a
Solar.
luni-solar calendar. And I think next tomorrow is Chinese New Year,
Oh,
the year of the horse.
interesting. Okay. And also Mayans, right? Mayans also calculated based
Yes,
on.
mine is much more complex. See, I last year I went to Mexico and the Mayan region, that is near Cancun.
Yeah.
And they explained, actually, I have a calendar also. They gave me. So
Very interesting.
it's a very complex thing. They have an 18 months calendar, then another cycle. So it's a very complicated game of synchronizing, but finally they end up synchronizing their months with the season,
Yeah.
ultimately.
I think Mayans also accounted for Shukra, which is Venus. I think their calendar is slightly Venusian, but I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain that or haven't read enough on that. But maybe someday I will and we'll come back to this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have talked about the 12 rashis and how they divide
Yeah.
the ecliptic or the apparent path of the sun around the earth into 12 exact parts. Then we have also talked about the 27 nakshatras, which are on the same belt,
Yes.
but they further divide each rashi also into 2.5 parts, and then they each
Yes.
have 4 parts. This is all for the sake of precision. You want to get closer and closer to
Yes.
the actual
Yes.
object in the sky. Now, when we talk
Right.
about Suryamana or Sauryamana calendars, and there is Chandramana calendars. So, what is the difference between
What
this, Radhakrishna ji?
what we spoke of was Chandramana earlier, because the month was based on the full moon
Phases.
occurring in a particular nakshatra, and it was only 30 days. But Sauramana calendar is actually uh, a, a system that is synchronized with the sun, okay, fully, because it is based on the sun's transit, sun's stay in any particular zodiacal constellation. Say, for example, the sun is in the Makara constellation, then it is the month. In Malayalam, that's called simply Makara month, but in Tamil and Bengali, names are different. But it is based on the sun's transit through a particular Rashi. So that way, it is exactly 12. Means it completes year. Means you don't have to do any synchronization, because. But viewing that is a little difficult. Not as easy as a lunar month. You can just see the lunar month in the sky. This
Yeah.
is not, you cannot that easily. Of course, you can see it, but you have to do calculations. You have to know when the sun has entered a Rashi.
Yeah.
Exactly. So a little more observation is needed for this. So some regions of India, like Kerala, my place, there
Yeah.
they have Sauramana calendar, and I think in Tamil Nadu and in Bengal and in some other places too, it is Sauramana based on the sun's transit in any particular Rashi.
Yeah. Okay. That's very interesting. All right. So now,
There is one small thing to this. In
yeah.
the very long run, this also gets out of sync with the
Oh, yeah.
season,
That is the
because
concept of precession that you were talking about earlier, right?
yes, the precession of equinox. See, when you have a top, okay, a spinning top, it's called, I think, lattu in Hindi. You just
Oh,
throw and it rotates. So if you
Mhm.
see that, if this is the axis of that axis itself makes a small circle, okay. So similarly, earth's axis makes a small circle, as it takes about 26,000 years for one circle. Now,
Mm.
because of that, each year the uh, the sidereal year and the solar year becomes a little different, okay,
Mm.
like 20 minutes. So in about 70 years, there will be a difference of 1 day.
Right.
In the, so when you go 1,000 years, it'll be many more days. For example, 1,800 years ago, the Makara Sankranti, the sun's entry into the Makara constellation, coincided with winter solstice, which is called Uttarayana. So Uttarayana is when the sun starts moving north. Okay,
Mm.
so that happens on the day of winter solstice. So that winter solstice and Makara Sankranti happened on the same day. They coincided 1,800 years ago. But now they are separated by about 24 days, because Makara Sankranti happens on January 14th or something, whereas winter solstice happens on December 22nd.
Right. Yeah, and also that will go
Some
behind.
people mistakenly celebrate Makara Sankranti as Uttarayana.
Right. But yeah, I think that solstice will also eventually shift. Like it will also drag by a day every 70 years, and it will soon then be
Yes.
21st December, then it will be 20th December, so on. But precession is a very, very important concept in Indian astronomy. I think viewers should go and read about it. It's a little
Yes.
difficult to understand, but you will know when you will know. All right, now let's go. Like, how less of a time could we calculate, Radhakrishna ji?
Oh, yes. It is very interesting. See, like units of the time, one ghati or nadi is 24 minutes. One vighati or vinadi is 24 seconds. One lipta is approximately 0.4 seconds. One vilipta is 0.013 seconds.
Wow.
And one prana is roughly 4 seconds. One nimesha is 0.213 seconds. One leva is 0.071 seconds. And one truṭi is again back to 0.00002 seconds. So,
Wow.
see, our ancestors were very systematic, and they wanted to be very precise. So
Right.
they even talked in terms of truṭi, but I don't know whether they actually measured it to truṭi, but they
Yeah.
could measure a few truṭis and then say, yeah,
This is
divide this by this much, and then you get truṭi, like
yeah.
that.
Right. And I'm
They
very sure
wanted precision,
there
so
must be
they
some
had all this.
application of it, Radhakrishna ji. I don't know what it was, but there must be some application of Truṭi as well.
Yes,
Otherwise, why
yes,
would you calculate that?
sure, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now
So, so
we want to imagine time from the most that we know to the least that we know. How do we go about that?
yes. From the Kalpa, Yuga, year, month, day, Ghati, Nadi, Vighati, Vilipta, Prana, and then Truṭi. So
Very interesting.
this is how they divide it, and this is such a vast scale. So if you see the scale, from millions of years to microseconds.
Microseconds. Yeah, very, very interesting. Now, briefly, we'll also talk about the measurement or the units of measurement of this time and more specifically the instruments that were used. But I want to
Yes,
highlight that Radhakrishna ji and I have done a more specific YouTube presentation on ancient instruments in India. So please visit that as well. That has very, very interesting discussions on different instruments. This is more like a trailer of that.
yes,
So let's
exactly.
talk about this Chaya Yantra first, which is a measure which was used to measure time, Radhakrishna ji.
Yeah, chaya means shadow. So this yantra means, see, yantra, real meaning is machine or a contraption. So, but this is a very, very simple machine. Okay, so chaya means, as I said, it is shadow. It uses shadow for measurement of time. So when the sun's there is a this thing like this, that there's a shanku. So this is the central thing is called shanku. The shadow of the shanku tells the time. Okay, you may think it is so simple, but the calculation, the what you call the markings are need a complex trigonometry, and our ancestors were aware of trigonometry,
How to do that?
and
Yeah,
they did the markings
yeah.
accordingly, and that is the simple. See, everything is simple, but behind that is more complex mathematics.
Right. And then there were also water clocks, right? Let's talk
Yes,
about those.
the the thing is that Shankus means Chaya Yantra can be used only when sun is there. Okay, if it is cloudy or in the night, you have to use some other technique. A simple way is water clocks called Jala Yantra, and Jala Yantra, the one is called Nalika Yantra. Nalika means tube. So the bottom figure, you can say it tube, and there's a small hole at the bottom, and the water escapes through that. So it is calibrated. It is marked. The level is marked in ghatis. So as it goes down, time has passed. So it is calibrated. Very easy. And the top one is called Ghatika Yantra. Okay. So Ghati means a small vessel. A small vessel is floating in water, and that vessel has a hole at the bottom, and water enters, and finally it sinks fully. So the time taken for the Ghatika to sink is 1 Ghati. That means they adjust the dimensions. Like see, that's also not it needs math and all that to do that, but the concept is simple. So they adjust the small Ghatika such that it sinks in 1 Ghati.
Right.
So that's how they used to measure time in the night. And interestingly, the name of the instrument itself is used for the units. So Ghatika means a small bowl, small vessel, and that is the name of the unit, Ghatika. And Ghatika became Ghati, and I think in Hindi it became Ghadi.
Yeah.
Like Ghadi, Ghadi, and all that song is there.
Yeah. In Marathi also we say Ghadiyal. So basically it's coming from the same root. Very interesting. Okay. And I think there's also Bhaskaracharya who has given the water wheel.
Oh, yes.
Eventually the perpetual...
Bhaskaracharya was a mastermind. He was a very... He was not only an astronomer, he was a scientist, fully, very bright scientist and mathematician. He is the originator of Bijaganita. Bijaganita means algebra. And see, unfortunately, algebra is named after a Central Asian person, but that person is not the originator of algebra. It is Bhaskaracharya.
Right. We have also done a session on Bhaskaracharya, viewers, by the way. You can go down to visit that. Bhaskaracharya we've discussed in much more detail there. But he gave two very interesting instruments to us and very simple to make, very simple apparatus. Anybody can make this. It doesn't take any rocket science, or you don't have to be rich to, be able to buy these instruments. So there's Kalachakra Yantra, and then there's also the theory of how it operates. Can you briefly explain that?
Yeah. See, again, it's a simple thing. So we have a source of water at the top that falls on a wheel, and that wheel has containers, 4 containers here, and here, and also tubes. Okay, interconnected tubes, and those tubes have mercury within. So when water falls into in one of the containers, that container gets filled. So it moves down, and because there is this mercury, it moves in jerks, jhatka, tak, 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 tak. Yeah. So you can easily measure that time. So one jerk is 1 Ghati, second jerk is 2nd Ghati, third jerk is 3rd Ghati. But you have to adjust the volume of the container, the mercury, everything, calculate and do that. But once it is done, it is very simple.
Yeah. And one thing to point to the viewers, we also have the collection tank. So we talk about sustainability these days, but even that much amount of water, Bhaskaracharya did not want to waste it. So we collected it in a tank and probably reused it again.
Yes. Yeah. That's the interesting thing. Yes.
Yeah.
We always reused. Yes. We don't want to waste anything.
Right. And now coming to Aryabhata, I think this is a very interesting instrument which shows how Earth rotates as well. So Radhakrishna ji, I'll let you explain this because it's slightly...
Yeah, this is very, very, very interesting. See, Aryabhata, our ancient astronomers knew that the Earth rotates, okay, and Aryabhata wanted to show that also in his clock. Okay? So this is a clock, simple clock. So he has a globe that is mounted on two, what do you call it, supports, and it can rotate. And there is a thread going around it, and then there is a vessel beneath with water, and at the end of the thread is a small bundle, and in that bundle there is a little mercury. Mercury is added for weight so that it should move down, and this bundle floats on the top of the water in the tube, and the tube has again a small hole at the bottom, and water escapes from that hole, so the water level goes down, and when the water level goes down, the bundle goes down, and the bundle pulls the globe because there's the thread, and the globe starts rotating. So everything, the weight in the bundle, the volume of the tube, and all that, everything is so adjusted that the globe makes a full rotation in 24 hours.
Right.
So Aryabhata wanted to show this to his Shishyas, maybe his students, the rotation of the Earth, and also it measures the time. It's a clock. So it's a clock that simultaneously demonstrates Earth's rotation.
Very, very interesting. All right. So now I know that we talked so much about time, but coming to the calendar system of India, I think we have five elements to it. We have a Tithi, which we talked about as a lunar day. Then there is Vāra, which is the day of the week. So Monday, Tuesday, so Somvar, Mangalvar, so on. Then Nakṣhatra is also a grouping of, a grouping of stars that we look up in the sky and we determine which Nakṣhatra is the moon closest to on that day. Now we talk about yoga and Karaṇa as well in Pañchāṅga. So Radhakrishna ji, what is this for viewers understand?
Yoga is a combination of sun and moon's longitude, and that indicates auspicious or inauspicious moments. I think our Pandit ji is the right person to explain this. And Karaṇa is half portion of a Tithi,
right?
Half a Tithi. It's called Karaṇa.
So for viewers, I want them to understand that these five elements do not have a date in them. So remember that. Some people get confused with why is certain Tithi coming in US before in India, isn't India behind or ahead or something like that. So don't get confused with the dates. We are talking about these five elements and they define what day you are in right now and how to celebrate it. So do not get confused with the dates at all. Date is not an element of the five things that we are talking about here. Okay. So lastly, I think there's also a transliteration scheme, Radhakrishna ji. Because I know that Radhakrishna ji and I have also done a session on languages. And one important takeaway for me from that session was that a language is not tied to a script. So you can represent any language in any script. And I think here, Radhakrishna ji, do you want to explain how you have translated?
Yeah, I just represented our Sanskrit using English letters, say like A with A, and a diacritical line over it, E, U, and so on.
Yeah.
And Ka with just K, Ka with KH, and so on. So, and Ta with T and a dot underneath, Da with D and a dot underneath, like that. So we can actually correctly represent our Sanskrit sounds using this scheme.
Yeah. So for anyone who is, not that well versed with the script of Devanagari, you can also use the English letters to represent the same letters in Sanskrit. And never tie a language with a script. Any language can be written in any script. So have a very, very open mind. So thank you once again, Radhakrishna ji, for a wonderful, wonderful session on time. I think we all are extremely interested as civilizations in knowing about time or how we thought about time. And we can clearly reflect here on how India has thought about time, from an infinitesimally small value to a very high value beyond all of our imaginations. And thank you so much for bringing it to the viewers and discussing it in so much detail, Radhakrishna ji, as usual. Very, very beautiful
Yes.
session. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. See you in the next session.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.